Have you ever felt like you're walking through a thick fog, unable to see the path ahead? That feeling of being completely lost, surrounded by a heavy silence, where every step feels uncertain. It's a feeling many of us know all too well, the shadow of despair. It can creep in after a loss, a failure, or sometimes for no clear reason at all. It tells you you're alone, that things will never get better. But what if I told you that even in the deepest shadows, there are flickers of light? What if the key to finding your way out isn't some grand gesture, but a series of small, almost invisible acts of kindness and resilience? Today, we're going on a journey together, not just to talk about despair, but to discover the incredible power we all have to overcome it. Let's start with a story. Imagine a young woman named Clara. She was an artist, her world once vibrant with color and creativity, but a series of personal setbacks left her feeling drained, her canvases blank, her brushes gathering dust. The joy she once found in her art was replaced by a hollow emptiness. Days blurred into one another. Getting out of bed felt like climbing a mountain. She felt disconnected from everyone, even her closest friends. She was deep in the shadows, convinced she'd never find her way back to the light. Despair had become her constant companion. This is a place many of us have been, a mental and emotional state where hope seems like a distant memory. Now, let's talk about resilience. It's a word we hear a lot, but what does it really mean? Resilience isn't about being unbreakable. It's not about never falling down. It's about getting back up, even when you feel you don't have the strength. For Clara, her first act of resilience wasn't painting a masterpiece. It was simply opening her curtains one morning to let the sunlight in. A tiny act. The next day, she made herself a cup of tea and sat by the window for 5 minutes. Then, she tidied up one corner of her studio. These weren't giant leaps. They were small, deliberate steps. Resilience is built in these moments. It's the choice to do one small thing for yourself, even when your mind is screaming that it's pointless. It's the whisper of self-compassion that says, "It's okay to not be okay, but let's just try this one little thing." While Clara was taking these small steps, something else was happening around her, something she barely noticed at first. An elderly neighbor, Mr. Henderson, started leaving a single flower from his garden on her doorstep each morning. He never knocked, never said a word. It was just there. A small, silent offering of beauty. A friend sent her a text, not asking how she was, but sharing a funny video of a cat. A barista at her local coffee shop, noticing her weary expression, drew a smiley face in the foam of her latte. These were acts of kindness. They weren't grand, dramatic interventions. They were simple, human connections that pierced through the fog of her despair. They were reminders that she wasn't invisible, that someone, somewhere was thinking of her. This is the incredible synergy between resilience and kindness. Our own small efforts to get back up are magnified by the small acts of kindness from others. Mr. Henderson's flower didn't magically cure Clara's despair, but it made her feel seen. The funny cat video gave her a moment of genuine laughter, a brief respite from the heaviness. The smiley face latte made her feel a flicker of warmth. These moments began to accumulate. They were like breadcrumbs, leading her slowly, step by step, out of the darkness. Kindness from others validates our own efforts at resilience. It tells us, keep going. You're not alone on this path. And just as importantly, being kind to others can be a powerful tool for our own healing. Inspired by the kindness she received, Clara did something she hadn't done in months. She picked up a small sketchbook and drew the flower Mr. Henderson had left. It wasn't perfect, but it was something. The next day, she drew the smiley face from her latte. Slowly, tentatively, she began to create again. Her art became a way to process her feelings, to give form to the shadows she was navigating. She then decided to pay the kindness forward. She baked a small batch of cookies and left them for Mr. Henderson with a thank you note. She sent a supportive message to a friend she knew was also struggling. This act of giving, of connecting with someone else's humanity, reignited a spark within her. It shifted her focus from her own pain to the shared human experience of struggle and support. When we help others, we often end up helping ourselves the most. This journey is not a straight line. There are good days and bad days. There are days when the fog rolls back in, and the path forward is unclear again. Resilience isn't a one-time achievement, it's a continuous practice. It's about learning to be your own best friend on the tough days. It's about celebrating the small wins, like getting out of bed or making that cup of tea. It's about remembering the kindness you've received and knowing you are worthy of it. And it's about understanding that asking for help is not a sign of weakness, but one of the greatest acts of resilience there is. If you're struggling, reaching out to a friend, a family member, or a mental health professional is a courageous step on the path to healing. There is strength in vulnerability. So, how can we apply this in our own lives? First, practice micro-resilience. When you feel overwhelmed, don't think about climbing the whole mountain. Just focus on the next small step. Open the curtains. Drink a glass of water. Listen to one song that you love. These acts build momentum. Second, become a source of quiet kindness. You never know who around you is fighting a silent battle. A genuine compliment, holding a door open, sending a simple thinking of you text. These things cost nothing, but they can be a lifeline for someone who is struggling. Your small act could be the flicker of light someone desperately needs to see. Think about the ripple effect. Clara's journey didn't end with her. Her renewed art, now filled with themes of hope and connection, went on to inspire others. The cookies she gave Mr. Henderson brightened his day and reminded him of his own value. The message she sent her friend provided comfort at a crucial moment. Kindness is contagious. Resilience is inspiring. When we choose to get up, we show others that it's possible. When we choose to be kind, we give others the strength to get up. We are all interconnected in this web of human experience. Your journey out of the shadows can light the way for someone else. As we come to the end of our time together, I want you to remember this. You are more resilient than you think, and your capacity for kindness is a superpower. The shadows of despair can feel all-consuming, but they are not permanent. They cannot extinguish the light of human connection and the quiet strength of the will to heal. Whether you are the one needing a hand today or the one with a hand to offer, remember Clara's story. Remember the power of a single flower, a funny text, a smiley face latte. These are the tools we have to fight the darkness. They are small, but they are mighty. Start with one small step, one small act of kindness. That is how we find our way back to the light, together. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. If this message resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more content on resilience, kindness, and personal growth. Share this with someone who might need to hear it, and remember, be kind to yourself and to others. See you next time.